Good evening, everybody. Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Noah Bergen here. Hurricane Beryl, a benchmark hurricane so far. It's the first Category 4 hurricane ever during the month of June. Peak wind gust observed so far on land of 161 miles an hour in Grenada. That was earlier on Monday. And it's the third earliest major hurricane, Category 3 plus, to ever be recorded in the Atlantic Basin. Here's the infrared satellite imagery as of late Monday evening. I mean, there's not much more for me to say other than wow, incredible, scary even. This storm is so far beyond the bounds of what historically is normal. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, oh, we always get hurricanes. Come on, it's not that. It's how early it is, where it is, and how intense it got this early. Normally the Caribbean is known as the hurricane graveyard, especially this early in the year. You hardly ever see this. This is something you would see here in September, October, not before July 4th. Tremendous convection, tremendous eye. There's been mesovortices within the eye. Those are smaller. You can think of it like tornado-like circulations that orbit around the main center of circulation. Very well-defined eye. The hurricane hunters have flown through here Monday evening. They recorded flight level winds, 150-ish miles an hour, and they actually recorded winds at about 6,000 feet that were 190 miles an hour. Now, that doesn't make the official advisory because that's 6,000 feet, but this has been something just beyond historical norms. So as of the 8 o'clock advisory, sustained winds of 155. Here's the historical track. You see how far south it was, moving west-northwest at 21. After about midday Tuesday, it should slowly start to weaken. But for Jamaica especially, this will be a direct impact. It may not make an official landfall as the center probably stays offshore, but 2 o'clock Wednesday, sustained winds 110, gusts to 130, especially on the south side of the island. Remember, that's usually the wet, rainy side of a hurricane, the right two quadrants. So that's going to be a big impact for Kingston and all of Jamaica on Wednesday. Tremendous flooding, rains, maybe some tornadoes. Then the storm weakens further, going towards Belize, Cancun, Mexico, probably early Friday. Then it will reemerge into the Bay of Campeche on Friday, probably afternoon, and then it could turn to the northeast. And I do not want to rule out impacts to Texas or Louisiana. A lot of the guidance has suggested Mexico, but I could see this hooking a hard right and maybe re-strengthening this weekend. Here's the latest spaghetti models, and notice several of them do indicate that right turn. And listen, we've got AI models now, we've got advanced computational abilities, the computer models. Sometimes the age-old abilities are best. And what I mean by that is, historically, we know as human meteorologists that a stronger hurricane in this part of the world is going to try to do everything it can in its power to get poleward. In other words, turn towards the north and gain latitude. So I kind of am in the camp, in my opinion, I think it's more likely it will turn to the north towards Texas this weekend as opposed to just steamroll due west and go into Mexico this upcoming weekend. Why has this been so extreme? Well, the water temperature is probably the biggest reason. It's what's normal for late August. You see the historical path here, and actually the amount of ocean heat content is actually higher further west than where it is now, as strong as it's already been east of the Windward Islands. Now, the reason why it's going to weaken is because there'll be more wind shear that comes in the atmosphere. In terms of dust, remarkable to see. Dust to the left, dust to the right. There's the hurricane. It's actually helped move the Saharan dust layer out of the way. Now, statistically speaking, Category 4 or 5 hurricanes to pass south of St. Lucia all time. Not specific to any month. There's only two. Allen in 1980, Ivan in 2004, and now we can add Beryl to that list. Pretty amazing to see that. Category 4 or 5 hurricanes to pass south of St. Lucia in July. Never happened before. This was the first time for that this year. There's been strong hurricanes through the windwards, not this early, not that far south. Now, in terms of just July, major hurricanes, so that's Category 3, 4, 5. There is one analog, Emily in 2005, but it didn't really become a Category 4 until it was well west of the islands. Beryl became a Category 4 basically over the islands. So in a way, it's really in its own benchmark there. Then that hit Belize, impacted Cancun and Cozumel, then went in towards Tampico, Mexico in 2005. This could be a similar track, just with more of a northeast turn there at the end towards Texas and Louisiana. Here's our Fox model. Does a great job with hurricanes. You can see here comes the storm to the west. Jamaica, the outer bands start as early as 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. Tons of rain on the east side. You can see here's the afternoon Wednesday. Still a Category 2 hurricane. Winds over 100 miles an hour, especially the south side of the island. But just tons of rain going to get thrown over that island on the east side of the circulation. It's a fast mover, though. It's not going to last that long, but it will be a very hard-hitting storm for Jamaica. Preparation should be complete there ideally by Tuesday morning. Then the storm weakens a little bit further, but will impact Cancun, Cozumel. A lot of people have cruised here before. It's a beautiful coastline. It's going to get hit pretty hard. A lot of beach erosion likely you see here Friday morning. A landfall probably is a Category 1. Then after that, the uncertainty comes in. There is another system behind this. Now, last week it looked like this could become something more. Now it's just a medium chance of development as it pushes off to the northwest. Also over the windwards, a tropical storm is possible. If it does develop, it would be named Debbie. Conditions, though, as you see there on the bottom left of your screen, not nearly as favorable as they were for Beryl. That system is Invest 96L. Disregard these two models. I don't think they're handling it correctly. The majority notice take it south of Hispaniola, either over or south of Hispaniola, then drift it south to Cuba. We'll keep an eye on it, but right now it looks like tropical storm at worst for that. In terms of wave heights, check this out. Tuesday, 35 footers on the east side. Then as this approaches Jamaica, 15 to 20 plus footers on the east side of the island. There'll be tremendous coastal impacts with this system, and then all that surf action could impact southern Cuba on Thursday with tremendous wave heights going there. In Central Florida, things are quiet for tonight, but we will talk much more about the tropics and keep you up to date here with historic Hurricane Beryl as things progress.